and welcome to the Nova Show, Real Estate Records. I'm Danna Castro, your host for today's episode, and today I have Stephanie Summers. Stephanie is a Utah real estate professional with more than 2 decades of experience in this industry, and she has also worked in multiple states. She has helped buyers, sellers, and investors across a wide range of properties and price points. With more than 400 closed transactions and a strong reputation in negotiation, she has also actively been involved in Utah real estate community through leadership roles and industry service over the years. So thank you so much, Stephanie, for being here with us.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
Yes, of course. For our listeners, could you introduce yourself and share a bit about who you are?
Sure. Like you said, my name is Stephanie Summers. I am a realtor in Utah. I have been working in this industry since 2004. I started in New Mexico in the Albuquerque area, and then I moved to Tucson, Arizona, and worked in both of those markets for about 2 years. Then I moved to Utah and started in real estate in 2007. Moved here just in time to see our market start crashing, and I thought Utah was going to avoid that, but no, that wasn't the case. So started working here in 2007, had to learn short sales right off the bat in order to be able to provide for my family. And so that was a whole new world, but it was a good world. It was great to be able to help people. And then I think in 2012, I was asked to run for the board of directors for Utah Central Association of Realtors. So I did. And then I just continued down that path. I was president of UCAR in 2016. That was a great experience. I met a ton of great realtors, and we're all friends now. So just a great opportunity to work not only on the local level, but on the state level, and then go to national meetings and just see parts of home ownership and property rights that we may not see in the day-to-day of the buying and selling of real estate. Right. So I was able to see the big picture. So I really do love that part of it. Right now I serve on the grievance committee for UAR and on a government affairs committee for UCAR. So yeah, that's what I do right now.
That's amazing. So what kind of moved you from state to state?
Work.
Yeah?
Yeah. My ex-husband had a job offer in Arizona. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know anyone in New Mexico, so I thought I'd go ahead and do that. And then his job moved him up to Utah.
Okay.
And I agreed to move back here because I went to BYU and the University of Utah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm like, I know Utah. I can figure that out a lot easier than I can Arizona, where I had never lived and where I didn't know anyone.
So where does your family live? Here?
My family lives in Kansas.
Really?
Yeah. That's where I'm from. And then all my kids live here, though.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You said you had 4 kids?
I have 4 kids, ages 31 down to 15.
Yes.
Yeah, my oldest works with me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What is he doing?
So he's a realtor.
Oh, he's also a realtor.
Yep, and he just took his mortgage license. I'm in the process of getting mine.
Wow.
Yeah, so he'll probably be handling more of the loans.
Yeah.
And then my younger son, who is 25, is getting his license. And ideally, I will transition from the day-to-day of real estate to turning that over to the 2 of them.
Oh, that's sweet.
So I can work on some other projects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also watch them grow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so fun. Well, I know that you've been in real estate for a while. What originally pulled you into this industry?
You want to be honest?
Yes.
It was kind of twofold. One, even when I was in college, I thought I would be pretty good at sales.
Okay.
So I wanted to do auto sales, but I never did it. And I really, to this day, wish that I had.
Really?
Yeah. But I thought that might be something that would be interesting. And when we bought our first house, within 2 weeks of having bought, the day we closed on our first house, it was a new construction up in Woods Cross. The day we signed, the builder declared bankruptcy.
Oh, wow.
And did not want to make any of the repairs to our property that they said they would make if we would sign that day.
Dang it.
Yeah. And then we found out 2 weeks later that we needed to move back east for a job.
Whoa.
Yeah, for a transfer. So then we couldn't sell our home.
Right.
Because now the builder's selling homes that are 1,500 square feet larger than ours for less than ours. So super frustrating. And so we listed our home, and the realtor that we used was not the builder's realtor. And it was a very dishonest experience, and it was very frustrating, especially sitting in this seat now to know what should have been done and what wasn't done, leaving clients in my home all day alone to check out the area. Just little things that happened.
Yeah.
And I never wanted that to happen to anyone else. And then when we moved to New Mexico and, getting divorced, I had to provide for my kids, and I thought I can do this. And I see realtors making money hand over fist and not doing a good job for their clients and underpricing properties. So I thought I can do this job better than they can. So here I am. I don't know if I'm doing it better, but I'm doing it. So
You are doing it. Oh my gosh. That is such a crazy story. So what ended up happening to your home?
I ended up getting rid of that realtor. And the builder's realtor actually went into resell. She's awesome, and she sold our home. We were able to do it on a seller finance for 4 months so that we could buy a home back east. Yeah.
Wow. That was like a crazy...
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just kept going.
Just to keep going.
Yeah. But look at you. You overcame that, and now you're here.
Well, we're here.
So, I know that we had talked about you like doing real estate in multiple states. Do you feel like in every state it is like slightly different? Do you feel like they're just all kind of the same, just a different game?
I do think they're different. One thing that we have to keep in mind, though, is that I was brand new when we went to New Mexico.
Oh, yes.
And so technology has changed a lot in that time. And how we market has changed a lot in that time. In New Mexico, I knocked a lot of doors. It was mind-blowing, the business I got so quickly. But, yeah, I do feel like it's different. Like, one thing I think that's different in Utah is that I feel like our MLS is phenomenal compared to the tools we had in New Mexico and Arizona, because they both use the same platform. Hands down, we've got a much better product.
Really?
Yeah, and it makes it easier, for the agents on our side, for the public on their side. So that part I really think is different as far as helping us do our jobs better, which I do think is huge. I don't feel like now, I'm trying to think how I might think that it's different. Because I think as a whole, everyone is doing more of the social media marketing, less of the door-to-door. I know some people are doing events. I don't do as much social media. I don't do any door-to-door, but when I started in Utah, I did door-to-door, and that is how I picked up all my clients, because I did not know anyone here. But even right now, I think if I were just starting in real estate, I would still do door-to-door because no one else is.
Yeah.
And I don't think everybody wants social media. Can I tell you a funny story about that?
Yes, please.
Because I'm not the biggest social media fan. I'm here to sell homes. I'm not here to be an influencer, which I think is something a lot of realtors are doing right now.
Yeah.
And I was in an Uber with another realtor, and we were talking about a video that we had just seen and a realtor do. And the Uber driver asked if we were realtors, and we said, yeah, we are. And he said, can I just tell you what I think? And we're like, please tell us. He's like, I hate all these videos that realtors are putting out. They're trashy. They're selling sex. And that's not who I want to work with. That's not who I want my family to be around. And he just went off for a good 20 minutes.
Your Uber driver?
My Uber driver. Like, we got to our location and we just let him keep going because that's what we feel like. So it was really an eye-opening thing that it's not just distasteful to me and my friend. It's distasteful to a lot of people in the public.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that's one thing that I feel really strongly about is that we need to be professionals. We don't need to be, a teeny bopper influencer. Like we are handling transactions that are worth hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars. And we need to treat those with the professionalism and respect that they deserve. So I'm kind of hardcore about that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I'm kind of hardcore about ethics. So yeah,
No, I totally
I'm on the
get
grievance
it.
committee. I'm hardcore about ethics. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
How long ago was that Uber driver?
Last year,
Yeah,
yeah,
here in Utah.
yep, here in Utah.
That's great. Now,
Interesting. Uber drivers are interesting. Like
I
I've helped two of them get their real estate licenses
Oh,
in
you really?
Florida and Texas. Yeah, it's an interesting. You can use your time wisely.
I've gotten to a couple Ubers, and every single time, they were in California, and those Uber drivers, I love them.
I
love
do
them.
too.
I love them, but I think they would just like tell their story, but I was so entertained, like on their story, because they would tell you why they're Uber drivers, and it would just go on and on. So I love Uber drivers.
I do too.
So, I know that you were talking about how you don't really do social media, but you rather do door knocking. So, would you continue that in, let's say, 3 years? Or,
So note that I don't door knock right now.
you don't door knock
I
right now?
don't door knock because I don't need to. Because I've got a sphere of influence that
Mhm.
I can, pull from my database. However, if I have a new agent that's joining my team, I absolutely think they should knock doors.
Yeah.
And it depends on like where your comfort level is. Like I don't like to talk on the phone. Like I will do anything besides talk on the phone.
So you wouldn't cold call?
Oh, absolutely not. No. I went to a training that a brokerage has here that's a 2-day training that you pay a lot to go to, and it was the best $800 I ever spent to learn that's not the agent I want to be. I'm never
Really?
going to sit around and cold call. No. I'd rather knock 100 doors than make 200 phone calls.
Why is that?
I like the face-to-face interaction. I like to be able to see people. I feel like it's a lot easier to gain trust. So for me, it's much easier than being on the phone. Plus, I don't like telemarketers calling me, and I like to treat people the way I would prefer to be treated.
Yeah.
Yeah. But why I think door knocking is important is because no one is doing it anymore, and we're on social media overload. You watch one reel, you scroll to the next one, and next thing you know, you've wasted an hour, you've seen 100 reels. But what do you remember?
Nothing.
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 But what you know is, hey, that's an hour I could have spent reading a book or learning something, crocheting a hat. Well, not that I can crochet, but that's something you could do. But if you knock on a door, because we just had a political guy knock on our door like maybe a month ago, and I remembered seeing a flyer for him, and we spent like 30 minutes talking. And I told him some other avenues, like how UCAR could help him get in front of more people. And I feel like just that one interaction was probably better for him than, had he sent me out a flyer, I would have just thrown it in the garbage.
It's true.
Yeah. So
It's so easy to just grab and like look at it and just,
yeah. And I do that. I do send out direct mail to my clients, and my database, not as often as I should. But I do feel like that personal interaction is what we're missing today. So, but yeah, so I would say door knock if you're new.
Yeah.
Let someone know where you're at. Go with another realtor and let them go down the other side of the street while you go on the, one side, they do the other. That way you've got someone who has your back. Someone knows where you're at, because I think we do need to be very aware of safety.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it's a smart way to work.
Yeah. Well, you were talking about doing mailers. How often do you send them?
Not enough. I do a monthly mailer.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Just super easy thing that I do with another company locally. I just have hired someone to handle some social media for me. So they will be doing more of the outreach online through
Congratulations.
email. I know. It's like I've wanted to do it. I
Yeah.
just have not pulled the trigger, and I can think of a million excuses not to get it done. But I did it.
Good
So,
job.
Yeah,
I'm so
thanks.
proud of you. So with those mailers,
Mhm.
what do you usually like put on them? Like, because they know who you are.
Yeah.
So
I don't even do this. I work with a company that works with local restaurants,
Mm,
and it just offers them like a buy one, get one.
okay.
And the offer comes from me, but then it gets them into a local restaurant.
That is so smart.
Because they don't really care about the house that I sold. They don't care about the house that I listed. Because anyone who's looking for a home is going to be looking on the MLS.
Yeah.
They're going to be,
And we'll probably let you know.
and will let me know. They're looking on Zillow. They're looking on my website. So, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I get it. We're talking about your website. What is on your website? Is that where you have your listings, what you have sold, or?
Yeah, it's just your basic real estate website. You know, feeds from the IDX, from the MLS, features our listings, tells a little bit about me and my team. Yeah.
That's great. How many members do you have in your team?
So we have 3. We had 5, and 2 of them have moved out of state.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's us.
With the future of your team, do you love like having a small team? Do you want to like expand that team? Or are you just kind of happy where you're at?
Yeah, so backstop that for just a second.
No, go ahead.
I launched a broker in Utah in February 2021 with 3 other agents,
Mm-hmm.
which it's now like almost 800 agents.
Oh, there's so many.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's a great company. They've got great tech.
You built that.
Yeah, well, we have a few agents who did a lot more of the building, but we launched it. So,
Yes.
yeah, that was cool because it was a new thing in Utah, and so that's really exciting. But as far as like my team, I thought I would want to build a big team
Mm-hmm.
and oversee that, but once I kind of got into it, I really didn't want to.
Really?
Yeah, so I think I'm happy with 2 people
Mm-hmm.
and a transaction coordinator so that I don't have to be in the nitty gritty of all the paperwork. And then, like a lot of my buyers, I have buyer's agents that go out and show them homes. And I do typically more of the listings.
Okay.
Unless they're like a repeat client or something like I've got an opening in my schedule. And like I love all of my buyers.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't have the time to go like the distances that they want to go or see as many homes as they need to see. But I've got great buyer's agents, and I think when you're building a team, you have to be able to give up control.
Mm-hmm.
And I found out that that's really hard for me to give up control.
Oh, it's so hard.
It is, and I didn't think I was that person, but it ends up that I am. And the very first time, like I sent my son Daxton out with someone, I sent him out with someone that I'm super comfortable with, and I'm like, how did he do? How was he? And this has been 10 years. It feels like 2 days ago, but it was 10 years. And she said he did great. And he pointed out, X, Y, and Z. And then he talked about, these items. And I'm like, oh, he did a really good job.
You did a really good job.
He did. And then we went to do walkthroughs, and he could see things that I couldn't see when we did new construction walkthroughs.
Wow.
Because he's tall, I'm sure.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah. And, 4 eyes are better than 2. So it was eye-opening for me to know that not everybody needs Stephanie Summers. Not everybody wants Stephanie Summers. Not everybody wants someone who talks as much as I do. Some people want someone who just listens more. And I think I'm a good listener, but Dax listens more. So it was eye-opening to me to learn, like, not everybody wants my brand. Not everybody needs my brand. But if I have those other brands on my team, then we can hit more people so that everyone's comfortable.
Right.
So that has been great for me. And having had that experience has made it easier for me to say, hey, I need you to take over this portion of the business and you to follow up on this. And that frees up my time to work more on the marketing aspect and how we can work with our database more.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody feels like they're getting the attention that they need.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, it's been a smaller thing. And right now, as I'm looking to transition out of real estate, it's easier for me to step back because I don't want that same control.
Mm-hmm.
But now they have the experience to do the things that I've been doing.
Where then you feel more comfortable to let go.
Yes.
And be like, you know what? I know they got it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's helpful because I did purchase a short-term rental property management company in Arizona.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And the goal is to 5X that. and to do it quickly. So why I want to spend a lot of my time expanding that, I can't devote as much time, day to day to real estate. So that's been super helpful to say, I need you to handle this aspect, whether it's in a property management group or, go show homes tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you were talking about how you actually prefer to be more on the listing side. What do you do to prep that? Is that with like photos? Do you do staging? What do you do to list a home?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it depends on what the house needs.
Yes.
We'll go to a walkthrough and see what they need and like what is their time frame. Do they need to sell immediately or do they have time? Do we need to do? And then I just say this is what you need to declutter. If you want to get a cash offer, maybe we can find you a wholesaler, something like that, or just get you on the market the way it needs to be right now. But if they've got the time, we'll come in and we'll either do some light staging or we'll have a stager come in. We've also worked to have them come in and make any repairs, improvements to a home, any remodeling, staging, to get that home ready for market.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, we always do the photos. I feel like one of the most frustrating things for me is seeing homes online with the photos simply taken with an iPhone.
Oh, I've seen a lot of those lately.
Yeah, which is crazy because how many homes do you ever see below $300,000? Can you not spend $150 to go get professional photos taken?
I was actually talking to our media guy, and he was talking about like which home would you click on? Like, would you click on this home that has this beautiful, clear photo of the home and the rooms, or would you click on the photo of like maybe somebody touched the lens and is trying their best to take the photos?
Yes.
So
I feel like we owe that to our clients, right?
right.
Put their home in the best light and price them correctly. Don't overprice them. And I feel like even when we're listing, we need to continually look at pricing and what's sold so that we are staying in line with where prices are, whether they're going up or they're going down, both.
How do you go about pricing? I feel like a lot of agents have different strategies on pricing because, of course, they try to look at what the home is valued at, but then how do you decide what it should go listed for?
Yeah, so I run the comps and I do a market analysis. I'll look at, in addition to seeing what's happened in the last year, I'll look at the last 2 years. I'll look at what's active on the market right now and what's under contract. I will call listing agents around a home to find out how many showings they're getting on a house, as well as the homes that are under contract. If I can get them to give me just like a close price range on where they're at and if they're paying any, buyer closing costs or anything like that, just to get an idea of like where the net will actually be for the seller.
Yeah. That's great. I feel like sometimes what I was talking to was they might be pricing them too high where then they are sitting, but then like maybe too low where it feels like the client may be lost.
Yeah. That was something when I first started in real estate and when I said, I saw realtors making money hand over fist because they were underpricing homes. And so they would sell in like a day. And it was a great market, but it wasn't like 2021.
Yeah.
It was 2005, which I understand was good, but it wasn't as great in New Mexico as it was in Utah. So that's why I tell my clients, let's price like 5,000 to 10,000 higher. You might be on the market another week or two, but we're going to get you $10,000 more. And that was kind of how I would pitch it. Right now, I think it's super important that we price homes where they're going to sell because homes are sitting on the market and buyers right now know that. We've seen our inventory climb to over, it's almost 11,000 active homes on the market right now.
Right.
And back in 2021, we had 1,200.
Yeah. No,
it's a huge difference. So buyers have a lot of selections. Rates are higher. They know they can get help from sellers. But at the same time, with all the upheaval in the economy that we're seeing right this minute, I think people are afraid to pull the trigger. So they need to feel really secure in that. Nobody wants to overpay. And even when you were pricing things correctly right now, like we're still seeing things sit on the market.
Yeah.
But you don't necessarily want to tell an owner, hey, drop your price $10,000 because you know that they also need those $10,000.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the people that are selling right now purchased their homes since 2022 when rates went up.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why some people are selling is because they did adjustable rates.
Mm.
And now that those are adjusting, they can't afford their homes. And so they need to sell.
Yeah.
And so they're kind of tied into, how much they can reduce their price. So that's when you have to be creative and kind of think outside the box. And some people are willing to do the seller finances, others are not.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. That kind of goes into like negotiation. Like with negotiation, how do you go about negotiation? Has there been a really tricky situation that you were like, you know what, like this is the best we're gonna get?
Oh my gosh. Yes, with negotiation. First off, I always feel like every transaction can be a win-win.
Okay.
I don't feel like for me to win, you have to lose.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is the way we should all work as professionals. Extremely frustrating for me when we don't work that way.
Mm-hmm.
I did just close my biggest deal ever in November. Thank you.
Whoa.
I say just, but it was in November. But
No, like the
it took
biggest
months
transaction?
to get
Yeah.
it done. Yeah, it was almost 11 million, and it involved 2 transactions on a single property.
Wow.
And just things changed with my client who is self-employed
Mm-hmm.
on the qualifying and the financing. And it was just this moving target the whole time. We all knew we could get there. We all knew that my client qualified. It was just so beautiful to work with the other agent. And
that's so
yes,
amazing.
and have a seller who understood the complexities of it as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we had to make, and some of these changes were pretty great. And like we had to ask for quite a bit in repairs. Like how often do you ask for $500,000 price reduction for repairs? Like never. Like that's the price of the home.
Yeah.
But we had to do that. But they saw why we were doing it because we could substantiate everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then every time we had to like push a deadline or make a change or reword things, just the explanation of why we needed to do that. I think being very transparent and working together is really helpful, opposed to keeping like playing your cards close to the vest and not sharing why you're doing things. So for me, yeah, I think transparency is key.
Mm-hmm.
And then like on the seller finance deals, just explaining like why we need to do seller financing, why the seller needs what they need, why the buyer needs what they need, and then finding that middle ground. And sometimes you're not going to find it. Sometimes it's just not going to work.
Yeah, they're not all.
No, they're not all cut and dry. But I feel like right now we do have to be a lot more creative in the deals that we put together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. I do feel like sometimes you forget that the agent is a person. Like you're an agent, but you're negotiating and you're like enemies now.
Yes.
So I feel like it's kind of sad to see that happen because we're all trying to get to the same finish line,
Finish line, yes. And it is funny because a lot of times I've had a couple of times where I've worked with agents that I've known, and I was really looking forward to it because I thought it would be an easy experience, right?
Yeah.
Because I know them personally. A couple of my hardest transactions
were the people that you knew.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's like totally different face.
Yeah.
But you know what? Good for them for putting on their negotiation face and representing their client. Good for them.
Yeah.
I just thought it would be easier on the one-to-one with the, people.
More transparency.
Yeah. Or that we would just be able to get along because we already have a relationship of trust. So that was a little bit interesting.
Yeah.
But that being said, I think there's something also to be said for this, I guess, is in a roundabout way of knowing other agents.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the more agents that you know, the better you represent your clients. Because we had an instance in 2020, when we all had to stand outside and wait to go into the houses to see them.
You can't
No.
go see them at the same time.
I thought it must be an open house because there's so many people at this house. And there is nothing phenomenal about this house. It's a
regular house.
It's a regular house in Lehigh. I'm like, why are there like 8,000 people here? Really, there were like 100. I didn't understand it.
Really?
Yeah, between the agents and their clients that were there, I didn't understand it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so when I called the agent to say, hey, I think we're going to put an offer, and he's like,
we've got 7 more.
Stephanie, he's like, I've got 12 offers. I don't know what to do. I said, well, here's what you do. You take everybody, you put them on a spreadsheet, you do the prices, the concessions, you work out, everything so your seller can look at it across the line, explain to him how to do it. And he's like, okay, that's a good idea. So I said, I'm going to write up our offer and I'll get it to you. He's like, okay. 2 days later, he texts me and he's said, do you have a minute for a phone call? I'm like, sure. He's like, I have over 40 offers on this house.
Oh,
this home was not that amazing. And I'm like, okay. It's like, you're not the highest offer, but you're the only realtor I know. If you are willing to meet our highest offer, we will accept your offer. I'm like, I'm sure my clients will go for that. Let me call them.
Yeah.
And so I called them and we said, yep, we went under contract, closed that deal.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, it was,
wow.
It was amazing. So I feel like for negotiation.
Yeah.
For just getting into homes, like maybe they're booked out and you can't get in to see a home because they're not allowing any showings because they've already got 2 more shown.
Yeah.
You can work your way in there if they know you and they understand that you're going to be respectful. You're going to wait till the other agent's out and you can come in. So I think it's important to be involved.
Yeah.
In your community.
I love that. I do feel like you are most likely to recommend a good friend or somebody that you consistently talk to than somebody who you might not know so well,
Absolutely.
So
yeah,
I get that.
Yeah, and had I not known them, had I not spent all those years, serving in leadership in UCAR, had I not continued to serve on a committee every single year since then, and go to events where I see realtors and cultivate those relationships, that wouldn't have happened. Mm-hmm. So yeah, wow, it worked out well.
That sounds like such an amazing. You were able to get that house for your clients.
To me, that is one of my amazing stories.
Yeah, no, that is an amazing story. You beat 40 other offers.
Yeah, on this house that was not amazing.
What was this house? Is it just like a regular 3-room, 2-bath?
It was a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath. It was
okay.
It was not anything earth-shattering. We see 1,000 of them over in Lehigh today.
Yeah. Oh, there's so many.
Yeah.
With your clients, what do you feel like they value the most in you as their agent?
That's a good question. I like to think they value everything.
They do.
My sense of humor. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm honest with them. If I think we can get them a better deal on a house, I'll tell them, like, if this is your dream house, let's move forward with it. But if it's not, just remember there's always going to be another home.
Yeah.
Always. My goal, I will tell them, my goal is for you to make at least $100,000 on your house.
Mm-hmm.
And this is money that you will be able to make while you are living your daily lives, raising your children, going to work. This is money that your job isn't going to be able to make you. This is money that you are going to make simply by living here. And that is what I want. And then once you feel secure, let's start working on how we get you into getting an investment property.
Mm-hmm.
And I also tell them, I don't ever want you to be house poor. And if I ever feel like, hey, our market is climbing so quickly that it's worth it for you to go a little bit higher than you want to, then we should. But otherwise, it sucks to be house poor.
Oh, yeah.
Where you can't do anything else. And I don't want anyone to ever have that.
Like where your whole paychecks just goes to your home. Like,
yes.
And you're not able to go out.
Go out. And yeah, you don't mind giving up, that Starbucks visit once a week, but you don't want to have to give it up 5 days a week, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't ever want anyone to have to do that. So that's one thing that I tell them too, is if anything ever changes and things get hard in your life, just call me before, you can't make your payment, and let's
Mm-hmm.
figure something out for you, and let's see, how I can work with you to make this better.
Yeah.
Because I grew up in a very low middle class home in the Midwest. We were in an oil field, and we never knew if we were moving one day to the next because you had to follow where the work was. Half
Yeah.
the time, my dad was out of a job because it's in the 80s and the oil field was so awful. And, I lived in trailers. I lived in 1,400 square feet with 7 people. One bathroom. It was awful. But you know what? We had a home.
Yeah. You had a roof over your head.
I absolutely did. And I want to see my clients get that, because I know how hard home ownership is. I didn't get into my first house till I was 30. Who knew that was going to be that hard? I remember my younger sister got a house like 2 months before I did. And I was like, what is wrong with me? Why aren't I in a house? But we had moved so many times and lived out of the country and everything else. It was just, we had different lives.
Yeah.
So that's what I want them to know. I want them to understand how home ownership can change their life and how I will help them do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I try to give them good lenders and, just good options, good advice on their, on their due diligence, on our negotiations. So I will always get my buyers the very best deal that I possibly can. And I will also do the same thing for my sellers. So very rarely do I represent both sides.
Really?
Yeah, because I feel like each side deserves their own representation. So, yeah. So if we have someone come to us that wants to buy like one of our listings, I'll represent one side and one of my agents will represent the other.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't talk about that transaction for another minute outside of like what our clients want.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then if it's a listing, like I know all the particulars and the other agent doesn't, that way if he does get a buyer, then he doesn't know all the nitty gritty on this side that could help the other side.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, it does.
Yeah,
make
because
sense.
we have to protect everyone's interest.
Yeah. No, it does make sense.
I don't know. Did I answer your question?
No, but I think you did.
I never
I
know
think you
because I
did.
talk in circles and I feel like everything gets so interconnected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, you did answer my
Okay.
question. No, it's amazing to get to know you because you have such a big influence. Like you have been in so many leadership roles. Like you have launched a brokerage. Like it was just like you have done so much. So it's amazing to like hear you talk about this, and you're such an amazing person.
Well, thanks. I don't really think so, but thank you.
No, you are so like you're so amazing. You have done so much. And like hearing you, like you've now built a team, and now like your sons were able to like also see that, and then now they're wanting to be in real estate too. Like it's so crazy how it's like a full circle, like we were saying,
Yeah.
because like you were able to teach that to them as well. And now that's something that they love as well.
I don't know if they love it.
No?
Because real estate is hard.
It is
Like,
hard.
I just saw 2 posts last week, like, congratulations if you're still in real estate. 80%. We had 80% fail rate last year. 2025 was as hard as 1995, and that's been the hardest
Wow.
year in real estate. And we
Yeah.
know there have been some hard years in real estate.
There has been.
Between 2008 to 2018, it was really hard.
Mm-hmm.
But they said just because our population increased, like, I can't remember what he said, 70 million, but the number of sales were the lowest since 1995, and interest rates being high, that, if you're still in real estate, good for you, because it was hard.
Yeah. I think there was an article I was actually reading that was saying that most real estate agents don't make it past their second year.
Yeah. 50% of agents don't sell a home. And then there's like another 25% that only sell one a year.
Wow.
Like it's a hard business. You have to be pretty self-disciplined and be able to think outside the box. I was just desperate. I moved here. I had to provide for my kids. So I had to learn how to do short sales. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Tell me more about these short sales. How did you get into them? Like,
Oh, how did I do that?
yeah.
Yeah, I really truly had no idea
Oh.
what I was doing. Because in New Mexico, things were like flying off the shelves. I picked up an investor right off the bat who wanted to buy several homes, and it was easy.
Wow.
And then it started slowing down in Arizona, and homes were sitting longer on the market, so I had to be a little more creative on how to sell those. And then I moved up here thinking we had avoided everything that was happening in Arizona.
No.
I bought my own home, and within 6 months, it had dropped like $80,000. It was awful.
Whoa.
So yeah, on the short sales, when people have to sell for less than they owe, and having to work with the banks. And I had another friend who was a realtor who said, I need to short sell my house, and you can't sell your own house. She's like, let's do my house and let's figure out how to do these. So I did. And it was with Bank of America, and it was figuring out their whole process. And I think all the banks are trying to figure out how to do short sales then too. But I just figured out a process on how I would get authorizations, and then the authorizations from each of the banks. I set up a system because I would have like 25 listings at a time, and I would negotiate with certain banks on certain days. And then we would get our offers in. We would have to go sit with all of the homeowners and get all their financial information. And as difficult as those years were, they were very rewarding as well, because you truly did feel like you were helping someone because you were helping them avoid foreclosure. And having that on their record, and the huge impact on being able to buy a home.
Oh, yeah.
So those were some hard, good years. Learned a lot.
Yeah.
And I would hope that the banks figure it out before this happens again. So it's much easier.
Hopefully it doesn't happen again.
Oh, well, it's inevitable.
Yeah.
But it'll be a whole new generation of realtors dealing with that. They get to learn too.
Funny enough, we're actually almost out of time.
That's shocking, because I was terrified they would be able to spend all the time.
No, you did amazing. So for our last question,
okay,
what would be the advice that you would give new agents coming into this Utah market right now?
Oh, man.
Strong question. I'm sorry.
No, it is a strong question because it is a hard market. So something I've really believed in is the need to build your own name and not to build someone else's name. That's why when I set up my group, I didn't name it after me. Because when I leave, to say you're on Stephanie Summers' team, whoop-de-doo, right? Because you spend so much time getting your own name out there. So you can say, I'm Stephanie with group. Our group does this. So you can promote the group, but not your name. So I think that that's key. But figure out like what your ideal situation would be. Do you want to be a solo agent? Do you feel like you always have to have leads from someone else? Are you willing to split that lead, 50 or even 60% with a team, to work this hard and get 40% of the commission? So decide what's right for you. And then just know that there's not one way to do it, because everyone's going to tell you you need to spend 2 hours in the morning calling people. If you're not a morning person, that's not going to work for you. Go figure out something to do on social media, post it at night. Or, say you're going to go out and you're going to knock doors for 2 hours, or you're going to put together, something else. You're going to do 2 open houses a week for other agents. Figure out what it is that you're going to do, but just to know that there's not one way to do anything. And I have one more thing. So one thing that has really helped my career is back during the recession in 2012, I started helping a private aviation company. When they would bring their new employees in, I would help them find housing. And they weren't buying because the market was so bad and going down faster than, you can count down.
Yeah.
And so I did a lot of showing rentals at that time, but I knew at some point those people were going to buy. So at that time I was building a database of those buyers. And so now that company has grown from like 50 people to over 500. And I still work with this company. Wow. So if you've gotten in with a company, if you're working for a company now and you have an opportunity to stay close to those people and work with them, I would look at that, because being able to help a company with relocation is really beneficial.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for being here and being part of our podcast.
You bet. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. And we will see you guys on the next episode.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. Please rate us, like us, and share this podcast with our real estate community. The Nova Show Real Estate Record, sharing raw stories of real estate, failures, lessons, wins, and successes. This is all from Novation Title, bringing a different experience into your world so that we can all uplift each other. Until next time.